When you talk about classic IMSA, certain tracks always come to mind, but none is as iconic as Daytona's road course. Despite being more well known for its NASCAR roots, American sports car racing has been a staple at this track for nearly as long as stock cars have. So it's fitting that the Kamel GT series makes sure they get a round in before the season closes out. But the bumpy banking and incredible power of these turbocharged machines will mean it's not going to be easy by any stretch of the imagination. We'll see who can take up the challenge as we get ready to watch round 12 of the iRacing Kamel GT series. And you'll see it all live here on the Global SimRacing channel. Hi, I'm Joe Peak, and with me in the booth is Sean Ambrose. Behind the scenes is our director, the Dr. Amjad Yaman, and he's using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Sean, I love when this group rocks up to Daytona. Why don't you tell our viewers just what they're in store for today with this track?
Joe, I would love to, but first I've got to welcome everybody to the World Center of Racing. Yes, folks, this originally a 2.66 mile road course around the infield was completed in the summer of 1959 and then began hosting world-class sports car events. The Daytona Continental 3-hour race was established in 1962, extending to 2,000 kilometers in 1964, and again at 24 hours in 1966. And since then, the Rolex 24-hour endurance event has been the traditional opening to the sports car season every February. Now, there were no major modifications to the road course until 1975, when they put that famous bus stop chicane on the backstretch in and introduced the end of the slow speeds, and introduced an era where the high speeds of the backstretch slowed them down into that final banked oval turn. Now, the further changes were made in 84 when the course turned back onto the oval at turns 5 and 6, while the following year saw the construction of a new pit lane exit plus a fast sweeping chicane after turn 1 and revised the international horseshoe turn, reducing the length to 3.56 miles. Now, that's this beautiful track on screen for you, but the best way to get an idea of what Daytona is really like is to jump on board the GSRC Audi and take a lap around.
All right, we're in the GSRC Audi, so let's do a lap around Daytona. Through the tri-oval, you got to set up for turn 1 right away. The braking into here is going to be very touch and go. Don't be surprised to see drivers lose the rear because of how you're braking and turning at the same time. The transition from the bank into the flat doesn't help either. From off the corner, you got to set up your line through the S's and then immediately swing left for the widest line into the international horseshoe. There's an access road that'll allow you to get to the power earlier if you use all the pavement available, so use it because it's considered fair game. Drift back across the track, and then you've got to give a big lift to navigate the kink. Make sure and get right on top of that rumble strip. You'll get just a squirt of the gas before you're braking hard down into the western horseshoe. Resist the urge to turn in too early because the corner tightens at the center. Feather onto the power so that you don't understeer off, and then swing the car to the right and hit the binders. Turn 6 is critical because it dumps you back onto the oval. But the car likes to understeer when on the power, and if you have to lift to avoid plowing into the outside wall, that'll hurt just as much as getting onto the gas too late. It'll be all about timing and taking the car right to the edge. The real test comes as you approach the braking for the bus stop. The car gets very unstable when you stomp the left pedal too hard. Lose the car on entry into here and expect to find the tire barrier. It's also important to be able to get back on the loud pedal as early as you can without getting a cut course penalty. Once again, you're on the gas for a long, long time through NASCAR 3 and 4, and you won't lift until you brake for turn 1 again. That means inevitably this will be a draft track. Take this time to figure out how much you can gain on the car ahead and plan your attack in case you need it late in the race. And if you're ahead, do your best to maximize the infield to break the draft. But hopefully you kept it together and have now finished a lap around Daytona.
Should give you an idea of the kind of speeds that both cars are going to be reaching around this track as even the Audis get up to quite a clip. Now, let's take a look at the points championship, with this being the final round of the season. And up at the top of the board, Olynyk only leads his teammate by 4 points. It is an incredibly close battle. And don't count out Amake, only 11 back, as Arto is here today as well to try and see if he can snatch it from both of those drivers. Gerber, a little bit too far back. It's going to take a lot of problems for the guys up top. Same thing with Mcleod. He's really more got to be worried about losing that 4th that he snatched away from Clayton there in the GTP standings. Of course, there is the GTP Lights, the amateur championship that they run in these Nissans as well. Luis Emerton barely eking out John Keefe for now by 5 points. So both of our championship battles in the prototypes incredibly tight. Krejcik has a long shot at this point. Michael Kopak and Michele Rugenbrink round out our top 5. Rugenbrink just now getting into the top 5 here in the final round. What about the 2 Audi championships that we keep track of, Sean? What do those look like?
Oh, boy, they're looking great. Michael Houghton, we've really got a battle here at the top because Houghton went ahead of Ove Trengrade last week. And you see the difference there. It's only a point. Okay, so look for hot action on track today between the American and the Norwegian. Ben Lafter, 34 points behind. He went ahead of Ville Riola last week. And so we've got another great battle there between those two. So first, second, third, and fourth of these GTO standings are not settled. They're going to come right down to the finish today. Phil, in and around on the lake, is going to look to just hold station and hold on to the top 5 right now. 51 points back and is, well, mathematically out of making any jump any further than that, but certainly could lose it if he's not careful today. Now, let's look at the other standings here real quick, and there we go. The GTU standings are on screen now, and you've got Riley Thompson with a 21-point lead there, 117 points total, and Franco Scurry, who's had a great season, looks to try and hang on today here at Daytona. Reed Miller got ahead of Brian Shanahan last week. Shanahan's going to have to fight back and hope for a great result. Dare I say maybe even a win to try and get that 3rd spot back. We'll see. Hideki Koivisto with the best shot back there to maybe take both spots if he's on point today. So, Joe, there you go. There's our GTU standings. And, man, we need to tell the folks real quick, and I didn't say it in the lap guide, this is the old Daytona. Now, you mentioned it in your opening. This 2007 version of Daytona, as you're watching on the screen, watch the car bounce up and down here as Franco Scurry makes it through. There is nothing smooth about this trip around here on the old 2007 version of Daytona.
It certainly will be. And speaking of getting our audience familiar with what they're looking at, why don't we take a glance at the race details just so that they understand what's included in today's event. As you can see, we are in the final round, and there are 2 classes, Nissan and the Audi. Audi have a few more drop weeks just because of some technical problems with the sim in the first couple weeks of racing. Today is a sprint race, though, 40 minutes that they'll have out there to try to get out front, which means you will not expect a scheduled stop for fuel. That said, the Nissans might be a little bit tight. Now, they should make it under normal circumstances, but if you get any damage, they have been known to run dry in the final minutes of the race. And there's the scoring. You can see at the bottom of the screen that they are going by 25 points for a win. So, some lap times have gotten on the board. Amake is wanting to try and take this championship from 3rd place. Well, he's put himself in a good position to try and do that. Has it on the pole in the Nissans. Riley Thompson, however, right now is up at the top of the Audi class. So certainly got some interesting results here at the start. Thompson, a fast driver typically, Sean, but not pole fast usually.
Not usually, but listen, drivers maybe a little more familiar with the Daytona layout as it's there and it's available. Tapani Linuluoto just goes to the top ahead of Arto Amake there in the Nissans. There's Ove Trengrade getting around right now, and he's got 1 lap in, sits currently 4th. Coming around here, see if he can do a little bit better than that.
Yeah, sitting on that 2nd row, he's definitely going to want to improve as he comes off the banking. His current time looking like he could be close to it. Let's see as he crosses the start-finish. And he improves by about 0.3, but that does not improve his position, unfortunately.
Yeah, nothing there for him. Wow. Fast times coming around here. Where we're watching him in practice in the low 130s for the Nissans, low 140s for the Audis. It's going to be a great race today, and we're also going to get a chance to see the grunt in the Audi today, caught in the draft of a Nissan. They will be really fast heading down that backstretch out of the high banked oval, coming out of 1 and 2.
Here we see Dexter Castro coming in today. Used to seeing him race another series here on the Global Sim Racing channel, but has decided to have a go at the Audi. Everybody has completed their lap times as far as I can tell. Let me double check on that just to make sure we've got everyone with the time in, and indeed they do. So with that, our grid is set. Let's go through it, starting with our pole sitter. Tapani Linuluoto has just about 2/10 over Arto Amake there on row 2 with his fellow Finn. Jamie Hall, trying to take this championship away from Olynyk, is going to start in front of him in 3rd. And Robbie has completed the 2nd row. Nicolas Schneider will start in 5th, followed by Fabian Gerber in 6th. Martin Krejcik, fantastic qualifying by Martin. He'll be in 7th position at the start of this race. That's a much higher than we're used to seeing him start. Nicolas Mcleod begins in P8 with Michele Brink in 9th. Our leader in the AM Championship for the prototypes, Luis Emerton, starts in 10th with Clayton Mcleod in 11th. Teemu Toika begins P12, followed by Radar Anderson in 13th, John Keefe in 14th, and Don Peak will round out the Nissans starting 15th today.
Hey, we know that guy, Don Peak. Okay, 15 Audis in the field today. It starts with Riley Thompson and his great time today. Phil in and around the lake, looking for a big win today. He starts 2nd on that front row. Michael Houghton, Ove Trengrade, complete row 2. Row 3, going to go to Franco Skirty and Vili Rolla, both with good qualifying efforts, find themselves in the middle of the field right now. Marco Kika and Ben Laughter complete row 4. Row 5, going to go to Reed Miller and Adrian Refsness. And row 6, it's going to be Brian Shanahan and Justin Albrecht with us today. Row 7, Dexter Castro, welcome aboard, buddy. And Hideki Koivisto will start 14th. And the last car in this 15-car field of Audis is going to be Richard Keel.
So it all comes down to this, Sean. It's been probably one of the tightest seasons we've seen in the Kamel GT series in both classes. So usually I ask you for picks on winner for the race. What about for the championships? Who are you feeling?
Man, Tapani in the Nissans. Boy, Joe, it's because it's ending its Daytona and we've got 2 distinct battles for 1st and 2nd there. It's so hard to say. It really is. Can I take a pass? I know it was easy.
We'll let you have this one. All
right, let me have a pass. All
right. Well, they are now rolling out on track, so they are going to do 1 pass around at pace speed, and then we go racing for 40 minutes here in the final round of Season 2 and the iRacing Kamel GT series. For those of you excited for Week 13, it is just around the corner. Lots of wacky races we expect to be on the way. So one last bit of seriousness, and then we can really cut loose and maybe unbutton the top button in our shirts and have some fun. Philip Lake, we see working his way into the infield. One of those races that we'll get to see on Week 13 is being advertised right here on Phil's car, the Summer Classic. We're going to be covering that on the Global SimRacing channel. Really looking forward to that. Going to Watkins Glen and the Nissans and Audis, where they'll have, I believe, a slightly longer race than we're used to.
Okay, but it's not just Nissans and Audis, right? We've got a couple other cars on track, I believe. Is that right? Or am I confused?
Oh, that's right. 49s and 79s also out there as well. So, yeah, that'll be a hectic multi-class race for sure, especially with the top speeds those 49s get to.
I didn't want to be so quick as to mix up events that we have coming up, because Week 13, folks, tune into GSRC. We've got a lot of things going on, not just that race.
Absolutely. All right, coming on to the banking. Now, this one I would expect in the Nissan, Sean, to be one of the trickier ones, especially with it being the bumpier version, because the turbo lag on this Nissan is just notorious. What's it like trying to get it onto the banking out of that turn 6?
Getting back to the power is really going to be the trick today, Joe. You're going to have to really watch yourself. Make sure you find the line that's less bumpy. Where is that? I don't know. You really just got to really work on it and find it. But no, really getting you said it with the turbo lag. You're really, really going to have to be careful today and how you get back to the power.
You see the Audis a little bit easier to get onto the power, as they've got that 4-wheel drive that they can really rely on for the grip. And then there is that bus stop. This version is slightly different than the newer one. If you look at it from above, it has a little bit of an angle there in the first part. The newer one, I think, is a little straighter. As they come out And then the ever-important run to the line. If you don't get the power down well out of here, you're going to be a sitting duck. Audis definitely will punch a big hole in the air. What about the Nissans, though, Sean? They're known for not really giving off the biggest to draft on other tracks. They get pretty fast here. Are they going to give you any slipstream at all?
Not as much. Now, where they will do really well is behind the Audis, obviously, when they're coming down the back straight. So multi-class traffic should be fun, watching them try and take advantage of their fellow Nissan opponents by using the Audi's draft. So that it'll be a bit of a reverse deal. So, by the way, I'm going to say Riley Thompson right now. I'll pick him and Ove train grade. There's my picks.
All right. All right. So the roof pace car leads them to the pit entry where he peels off. Wow, no waiting at all for Tapani as he streaks away from the field, already starting to see single file for the top four, although third place, Jamie Hall taking a peek to the inside as they now break for turn one. Cars accordion back together, but looks like it's going to be clean through. Let's go to the Audis.
Where Riley Thompson gets off to a great start. We're already with 3 wide going into turn one just behind him. It's already a battle between Houghton and Ove Trengrade. They're side by side, but Houghton gets a great exit into the horseshoe. But again, Riley Thompson, boy, really has some speed here, Joe.
Working their way through that international horseshoe. And understand that Emerton may have had some issues. Let's see if we can get a replay. I missed this one. This is in our Nissan class.
Yeah. Luis didn't get on the brakes soon enough here, Joe, I think.
Ooh, yep, just spins it to the inside of that international horseshoe. Thankfully, lots of grass in there, did not slide into the other cars, and he just gets it going once again, returns at the tail of the field where he's currently working on Dawn Peak, and I think this is going to be an easy pass as we switch back to the leaders coming down to the bus stop for the first time.
Yeah, every driver is going to get hungry when they pass Don today. He's in that box of milk duds he's driving out there.
Understand that Phil Lake lost a bunch of positions on the start. Is this correct? Yeah, he is down in 8th spot. What in the world happened to him? Oh, and we got a bunch of cars off at the horseshoe.
Yeah. Ove was the first one to get off. He was down in the grass, and look at this crowd around him. Everybody getting by. Ove has lost 7 positions.
And Sean, this is on the first lap. He cut the course. He's going to pay dearly for this one. I wouldn't be surprised if he came to a complete halt. He's going slow still, but here we watch on the replay as we come onto the backstretch. Looks like probably just outbraked himself. I don't think he made any contact.
I think so, Joe. I think he just misses his braking point, messes up his entry here, and there you go. He slides it through the grass, does everything he can. What a great job of hanging on to that. He could have gone straight into that tire barrier, Joe. Oof, that was close.
Well, what this does is switches things up at the top. Thompson leading the Audis. Michael Houghton in second. Ben Lafter gets promoted to third. Philip Lake does recover from that to get himself back into fourth. Those guys all very close together out on track, at least from Lafter to Lake, Kika, and Scurry.
Yeah, right now it's Scurry chasing Kika. He's all over the rear bumper, Kika. Scurry lost that spot to Kika. He wants it back, and he wants it back now.
As he chases him through the banking of NASCAR 1 and 2. He's within the slipstream. Is he going to have enough track to try and run him down into the bus stop? That's the question. And I think he's not going to as they finally hit the brakes here for this slow back and forth chicane. They're all going to come back together, and here's where they try to get to the power as soon as humanly possible. And boy, Lake has got a great run on Lafter.
Yeah, he does, Joe. I like the way that car looks right now. He's coming up on him. He's going to shoot to the outside probably. There he goes.
And make him go the long way around. Does he have enough momentum to get fully by turn one? Sometimes you can outbrake people from the outside into this tricky corner that takes you off the banking. He is well clear of Lafter at this point. Can he seal the deal, though? And he's got it. Move Philip Lake up into the podium.
Very nice move there by Lake. Man, Houghton has brought the heat now to Riley Thompson. And and use the advantage of those long straightaways to do it. But now this is where Riley starts to separate himself a little bit. Looks like Riley a little bit better here in the infield section of the track, but that's the great balance of the Daytona road course. We've got about equal parts of infield turning action and then straightaway speed here, and so it balances these machines out just a bit.
And Marco Kika has a problem. Sorry to interrupt. This is in the Western Horseshoe. May have had a little bit of contact. Yes, he did.
They think his problem was Italian. I think it was an Italian problem, Joe.
An Italian and a German car. As that is Franco Scurry just tipping the postman around. Watch from on board the Italian. Meanwhile, up on the screen, you can see Jamie Hall has just set the fastest lap, trying to give chase to our prototype leaders. Just a little bit of a tap from Scurry. Up to the prototype leaders, Jamie Hall very much starting to put the pressure onto Arto Ihamaki. Not sure that this is going to be enough for Ihamaki to beat both Hall and Olynyk to the championship, and I think Olynyk should still have it if he holds on to this 4th place. They work their way up through turn 5, onto the banking once more. They're slightly separated themselves from Hall's teammate Olynyk as he sits back and forth. He's got a second gap up to that podium that he's got to try and run down.
Yeah, this what we talked about in the pre-race here is the tow that the Nissans get. It's just not enough, Joe. They run out of straightaway here real quickly. But look how they fly through that bus stop, man. It's really more of a lift for them than any real braking, it seems like.
We don't need to go back to it, but the slipstream worked once again for Philip Lake as, for Ben Laughter as he managed to get past Lake. There you can see on screen, he has now got himself up back onto the podium. As I think that's going to be an ongoing battle between those two with how similar their pace is. But we switched back to the prototypes top 3 once again. Oh, and a challenge around the outside. Jamie, oh no, he loses it. Gets it back together just in time to see his teammate go by. Almost loses it again. 2 more spots slip out of his grasp. Jamie Hall is starting to see this championship slip through his fingers.
Wow.
That one mistake, Sean.
Yep.
Wow.
But he recovered. Oh, Ruola having trouble into the bus stop. Oh no. Ruola buries his Audi into the tire barrier. Oh, this is going to be all for Ruola. This was rather violent, Joe. Watch this.
This is a lone car incident. Just looks like he takes a little too much curb on the inside and just stabs it into those tires. And that's going to force a tow, which costs him even more time, unfortunately. So that incident that we saw with Jamie Hall means that now it is Rob Olynyk onto the podium. But how long can he hold on to that? Because Nicolas Schneider and Fabian Gerber are all over his rear wing.
Yeah, it looks like they're having a bit of fun there, Joe. At about 180 miles an hour.
Oh, and some information. Oh, as we have a pass attempt here by Schneider up around the outside of the banking. Olynyk trying to hold down low. It's a game of chicken into the braking zone, and I think Nicolas Schneider is going to win it. Nice move around the outside for Nicolas.
Yeah,
that gets him into 3rd.
Yeah, and I'll go ahead and report, I think, what you saw there, Joe. Villarreal checking in and saying that his wheel jammed going into there. So that is a very tough break. Man, look at this battle on the screen.
Yeah, it wasn't over, as it looked like Olynyk was trying to come back at Nicolas, but the Diatch driver was having none of it, and he fends him off for now. The question is, can he hold him off on the banking once they get into a slipstream? As we ride on board with Gerber, he watches from that popcorn position. And just a horrible exit out of turn 6 for Olynyk is definitely going to deny him the chance there.
Timu Toyka with trouble, Joe. And that was oh, Joe, I think that was a little bit too much back to the power, trying to get back to the oval.
I'm going to pull up the replay here, and indeed, there you see it. That Bushfink machine had just a little bit too much right foot. Thankfully, a lot of grass there to try and save you, and he did get it going once again.
All right. Let's look at the Audi GTOs real quick. Up front, Riley Thompson, Michael Houghton continue to battle, but it's the battle behind them that's the really good one now. It's 3rd through 6th. Ben Lafter, Phil Lake, and then, of course, now you've got Scurry and Ove Trindgrade into this mix. So the party of 2 is turning into a party of 4, and here they go, back up on the oval. Let's see if maybe we can get a position or 2 to change here, maybe 3 or 4. It's all out.
Lafter, Lake closing in on Lafter, looking up around the high side. And then don't forget behind them, Scurry, you're going to make up positions as well. Down into the bus stop they go. And I think Philip Lake has got that one done. Nice and textbook maneuver. Scurry's going to stay behind, but don't forget about Ove Trindgrade. He lost all those spots at the start. He is trying to make his way back forward as well.
Yeah, he's still got a lot of work to do. Thompson, Houghton starting to pull away just a bit. They're about 5 seconds up the track, a little bit over. Here comes Scurry into the mix.
Oh, and battle for the lead and the Audis as well. Thompson does hold off Houghton, but just for now. Gonna stay close in his tire tracks as they work their way through the International Horseshoe, threatening the whole way around. Remember, Houghton is our leader, so he only has to stay there to take the championship, but up in the lead of the prototypes. Look at this going on. Side by side, down into the first corner. Amake tries. Tapani denies him. Look out through the 007 cam. Now, Amake at 11 points back from Olynyk, who is right now 2 positions behind him. Excuse me, 1 position behind him. Let's see, what are our points looking like? Second place will get 22, and third place, so yeah, that is absolutely not enough. He's going to need a lot more. Right now, it's looking like, I think Olynyk is in position to overtake Hall in the points, as Hall is sitting in 5th, which is worth 16, which is a 8-point swing I'm seeing, if that's correct.
I think you're on that there, Joe.
Yep, and it's a 4-point difference, so yes.
We got to move for the lead here in the Audis. Houghton's thinking about it. He went to the outside. Now he's going to try and go back to the bottom. And no, he's going to stay right there in the draft to Riley Thompson.
I think this is going to be going on for a while between these two. Now, the real question is, Sean, as we mentioned, Houghton leading by a single point, so the amount that he has ahead of Trindgrade, and honestly, as long as he is ahead of Trindgrade, he doesn't have to worry. So if you're Houghton, do you points race, or do you say, no, I want the win?
Racers want to win. Nobody wants to finish second. Last race of the season, I'm going for the win. I mean, I'm going for the win, but I'm doing it cautiously, I guess, at the same time. So there is a delicate balance there, I think, Joe.
Yeah, I think maybe if it gets down to the last lap and he knows that Trindgrade's still well back there. Oh, and Olynyk, one of our championship contenders, in fact, was our leader momentarily in the championship. What happened in the International Horseshoe? This was with Nicolas Schneider, who came to his inside, outbraked himself. You're going to see right here. And wow, we need an onboard from Gerber. That's the car you just saw sneak through that left side of the screen.
Boy, and did he ever sneak through? He did pick up, he did nick him. Actually, you're going to see this. Gerber's going to take a little bit of a hit as he gets through.
See, he sees him go for it.
Wow.
Just
thread the needles.
Yeah, I was just going to say, he ought to pick up cross-stitching.
I ruined your one-liner. I'm sorry there, Joe.
No, you set it up perfectly. So, lead for the for the Audis, and once again, it's going to stay in order. Riley Thompson not giving it up to Michael Houghton. This is a very circumspect Michael Houghton here. I think he's thinking long term.
You know what? Going back to that conversation we just had, I think you're absolutely right. He is thinking long term here. He knows where Ove is in his relative, and right now he's safe, and that's a good place to be. But again, you go back to qualifying. Riley Thompson's hooked up here, man. He is dead serious about running Daytona, and right now looks dead serious on getting a win.
Another driver that's dead serious is Ove Trangrade. Remember, he was back in, I think it was 6 a moment ago. He just took 3rd away from both Scurry and Laughter. That puts him 1 position behind Houghton. Now, the good news for Houghton is that Trangrade is 9 seconds back. So, unless something dramatic happens to Houghton, he is well safe as long as he stays ahead of the Scandinavian.
Oh, Mikanos just had a problem. Did he get paid? Well, Rob Olynyk gets around.
Yeah, this is down into the International Horseshoe. Now, this is something we haven't talked a whole lot about, but does come into play. Looks like he was a little thrown off by traffic with the Audis now coming into it. But what a catch this was. Look at that slide. It's not a Fat Turbo Express. It's the Fat Drift Express.
You know, something else we missed, Joe. Phil Lake had a problem getting out of the bus stop. Dropped him all the way to 10th after fighting for in very important positions in this race. He now finds himself all the way back.
Disappointment for Philip Lake. It has not been the best of races as we ride on board with Amake, who weaves his way through our Audi class. His main competitor as well managed to get him through clean, but they're coming up to this fierce battle for the final spot on the podium. That's Scurry, Laughter, and Trangrade.
And Joe,
go ahead.
As the Nissans start to come through here, listen, there are guys behind them. Brian Shanahan, Dexter Castro, both up 5 and 6 positions through the field. They're on the way. Dexter is manhandling this Audi right now, and he seems to have found the speed.
Glad to see him take into this car. Not sure how much he's driven it, but it's not an easy one to adapt to. And right now, he is really putting the pressure onto Shanahan. They work their way. The Skull Machine coming up on to the banking. And our Nissan leaders are now clear of that podium battle. But the significant thing is Trangrade and Laughter have separated by a large margin over Scurry.
Yeah, I'm looking for Laughter here to take this position back, although he did get a little bit of the dirt on the way out there. No, he didn't get a slowdown, so he's good. Oh, a little bit of mistake there from Ove Trangrade. Got a little bit too down far on the apron. Here he comes. Laughter's got it. Gonna have to get by on the high side.
He's got the momentum. He's got the draft. Don't forget the gearboxes in these Audis are finicky as well. Missed shifts are going to be killer. They're going to be door to door as they come to the braking for turn 1. Up on the high side, Ben Laughter tries his best, but the Norwegian has the shorter line, and he is going to stay on the podium. Great defense there from the Robin's Egg blue car as he slides a little bit through the International Horseshoe. And behind them, how about this? Here comes Jamie Hall and Fabian Gerber now to throw a wrench in things.
Yeah, bad spot to catch battling cars. Look at that on the outside. Jamie just trying to get it through there and keep the car on track. Gerber all over him now. Boy, that's really going to separate Ove Trangrade and Ben Laughter, though.
Gerber sends one up the inside into 6. Usually you would wait till after this corner. He says no, but he spins the tires. Are they going to go 3 wide? Yes, they are, as Trangrade stays low. Almost banging doors with the Nissan. Still, no one is going to give up as Jamie Hall holds on to the high side as they come down to the bus stop. Fabian Gerber has a nose in, but is he close enough? No, he gives up the ghost. Fierce battling for 3rd place in the Nissan class. The GTPs have lit up here at Daytona.
Yeah, and boy, that almost didn't end well for Ove. I mean,
yeah, it did.
Just, that was scary.
Boy, Philip Lake's day gets worse as he drops another spot. I wonder if he's... Oh, and he has to cut the bus stop chicane, unfortunately. So we're right on board with Gerber as he tries to go around the outside. A lot of action happening out on track. Can he actually get this done? They're getting oh so close. Tries it once again, looking around the outside of the Western Horseshoe. Could go for an over-under. And it's not going to work. Jamie Hall has got to be feeling it inside that cockpit by now, though.
Yeah, you would think so. You got to be careful. That pressure certainly can get to you.
He is squirming under power. Meanwhile, as this battle is going on, they are... Oh, and I saw a car off next to them. Who was that? Oh, Ove Trengray just had some contact. And lost a position.
Rob Olynyk get together, and I think, honestly, Ove, a little trouble with the braking there. The car gets
No, that
loose.
was actually Mikanos.
Oh, it was Mikanos.
You're going to see the red and white machine. Just coming up to turn 6. He tried to turn into the corner and did not expect a GTP car to not be turning in when he wanted.
Well, just as quickly as he's lost it, he's gotten it back going into the bus stop. Ove Trengray gets back around Ben Laughter. Oh, well, okay. So let's see. Well, you know what? Ove swung it out a little wide there, and I think he might have even clipped the wall.
Or is this strategic?
Slowed him down. I don't even know anymore.
Because he's got the draft. He's going to try and get him back. Here comes another Nissan behind them. That's Michele Brink. Is he going to wait patiently? He tries to. Around the outside, Ove Trengray can't quite get it done. Now the Nissan tries to stick his nose in. He's going to get 1. And is he going to get 2? Now he is. Oh, but look at this. Ove has more traffic coming up the inside. Is that Scurry?
Jeez.
There goes Franco Scurry.
Watch out. Coming through.
No, that's Toyka. Toyka gets by now. Krejcik as well.
Yes. Wow, I keep messing that up.
It's okay. Oh, and Krejcik goes off in the Western Horseshoe.
We shouldn't have
keeps it out of the tires just barely. Well, now that the Tic Tac car has got a breath of fresh air, he returns back to racing. But not without losing a position or two. Things are happening all throughout the field at this point. Oh, Jamie Hall! Jamie Hall smacks the barrier, and his front clip is gone.
He watch on the exit here. He's going to hop.
More than a smack. He's going
to hop the curb. Boom. He hits that curb and sends it straight into the wall. Another violent hit.
That is the championship hopes for Jamie Hall diminished. It is now down to Amake and Olynyk. So Olynyk sits in 6th position. Where does that put them in terms of points here? 6th position, he's going to get 15, while Amake gets 22. Ooh, this is going to be very, very tight. Trying to do some quick math, which is a big no-no on GSRC.
That's right, Joe.
That's 7 points difference. So right now, I believe Olynyk is still got the championship, but just barely. But Jamie Hall, for sure, is not going to bring it home today.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, too. We've got to go to 3rd place here. The podium is at stake here in the Audis. Laughter trying to hold off Ove Trengray, who, yes, managed to get back around Franco Scurry finally. But now it's all about taking down Ben Laughter here. And, boy, Ove has really, really looked he's looked a lot better since the first couple of laps of this race. Where I see him struggling is down near the apron, Joe. He just seems to not be able to hold it right on or just above the line. Sometimes he gets a couple tires down there and it slows his momentum down.
A bit of a sloppy race today, unfortunately. As we watch from above. Oh, did somebody cut the course there? We're seeing a little bit of dust and dirt there coming off.
I think Radar Anderson may have picked up a little bit of dirt going through there.
Oh, I think he blew an engine actually. Timu Toika blew an engine. When did this happen? Let's see. No, wasn't into the bus stop. Oh, this is shifting up. We found it. This is coming off of turn 6. I've never seen a car blow an engine shifting up, Sean. You know, actually, you know what I think it might be? I wonder if he accidentally shifted down and he's got an H pattern on his setup.
That's probably more likely. Yeah, I think you might have hit it there, Joe. Boy, what a tough break for Toika. Yeah. Not the first Nissan motor we've seen expire this season, though.
Yeah, gut-wrenching for him for sure. As we switch back up to Amake, sitting in second. Now, we do possibly have an intern that we can send to do some math so that we can focus on this, but I think he'll get 3 more points if he switches with Luoto, if he can get the lead away, but I still don't think that'll be enough. We'll send someone to figure that one out. But this is going to be critical. That can help him, obviously. So at this point, I'd say, Sean, that Amake has nothing to lose. He's got to go for the win here.
I agree with you. I don't think he has anything to lose at this point either. You want to be the man? You got to beat the man. Go do it.
Good news for Olynyk is, even though he sits in 6th, he's 9 seconds ahead of Brink, and he is only half a second back from Mikanos. So he could get 1 more position and help solidify himself even more into this championship lead. But he's still sitting behind Mikanos for now. "13 minutes left in the season, Sean, and it's all coming down. Running out of opportunities. Oh, and Ove Trangrade has an off in turn 1, keeps it out of the wall. Let's get a replay of this. This is a real 4-wheel drift.
Boy. Wow, you're going to see here, okay, so he's going to get hard on the brakes. The car's going to come around. Look how close he comes to this tire barrier.
That was in a fight with Laughter, trying to go around the outside, using that 4-wheel drive to great effect. Talk about getting your elbows out. Ove Trangrade.
Now he finds
somehow keeps the car on board.
He finds himself back behind Franco again.
We haven't talked about that situation as much either. He's fighting with Houghton, and at this point, Houghton is still incredibly safe up in that 2nd position. Ove continues to lose time. So this one, as Ove had lost that 1st position in the points after last round, is looked set to lose the championship here in Season 2.
With Brian Shanahan under threat back here from Reed Miller. Down to the bus stop. It's going to be Miller with the inside. He's going to take it. Dexter Castro there. Was that Dexter? No, I'm sorry. Marco Kika. Kika almost gets into Shanahan going on. He really had to get onto the binders.
Yeah, the postman has certainly been in this fight for a while. 3-way battle for 6th position in the Audi class. And look at the run that Kika's got. In fact, both of them, are they going to go 3 wide? Yes, they are. Shanahan's going to split the middle. The Skull Bandit machine going to get pinched. Can he make it through? And the answer is yes. Blows by both of them to get himself into 6th. Whoa, what a mistake. Is going to lose a spot for the postman. Marco trying to get the car going. Now he's back on track, but Dexter Castro moves himself up. Oh, and Rob Olynyk. Rob Olynyk has a problem. This is coming off of turn 6, and he got passed by Brink. He must have had another mistake, because remember, Brink was 9 seconds back, and right here you can see he's right on top of him. This is going to change the championship fight. He loses a spot to Keefe and to Radar Anderson. So where does this put him? This puts him all the way down into 11th.
11th, Joe.
I don't think I even need to do the math on this one.
He's in trouble.
I think Olynyk is, yeah, I think Amake has now got the championship. Boy, we said it was a dark horse, that the Finn was going to have to hope for something special to try and take the championship home. With 10 minutes left on the clock, Sean, he's got it within his hands.
He certainly does, Joe. This is, it's right there hanging out there for him. Wow. I don't know if he can see that far.
I was going to say,
his relative.
Is he aware, though? Does he know that he doesn't need to fight Luauto? Now the strategy needs to change. At this point, he just needs to sit there in second and bring it home. Now, here's the thing that does complicate it. There's R11 drop points that we need to take into account. We'll send someone to figure that out.
Ben Laughter was just really, really wide getting into one, and that opened the door for Ove Trengrade, who now finds himself back on the podium.
Look at how close this continues to stay. Trengrade, Laughter, Scurry, not able to separate from each other. And we're getting confirmation here. Amake must win to take the championship. So he does need to fight Luauto.
Well, there we go.
Because of those drop points.
We've got our drop master in there doing the calculations for us, Joe. Someone that is allowed to do a little bit of GSRC math. So.
Simon and Poindexter are hard on the case.
Yes. They finally made their way back from the beach, and they're in the booth taking care of things here.
But the interesting thing is Amake really hasn't been making any moves. He's been holding pace with Luauto. I haven't really seen much of an attack from him yet. Does he actually have anything for Tapani?
I think he does. I think he does, but he's not going to reveal that quite yet. I'm thinking maybe with 5 minutes to go, we'll see a big reveal here, and maybe, and only maybe then we'll see him make something what might be considered a risky move.
Oh, battle for the lead and the GTOs. Houghton looking up around the outside of Thompson, but he breaks early, thinks better of it. He had a fantastic run up to the line. Wonder if that just wasn't a serious attempt yet again.
I honestly think he knows where Riley Thompson is vulnerable now. It's just a matter of getting close enough on exit and getting enough of a run down one of these straightaways to actually get around him in time before, they get to the turn. That's kind of been the story of the race here for Houghton so far. Maybe he's holding a little something back too. We don't know for certain. Important for him to finish the race. I would say even more important to get a win, because I'll say it again, drivers like to win.
And wouldn't that be sweet for our AM championship leader to take an overall win, or well, not overall, but class win for him? That would be Riley Thompson. Like you pointed out, both Thompson and Houghton leading their respective championships in the Audis. I almost wonder if maybe they need to get on the radio to one another and bring up a truce here. Like, we both want to win the championship. You want to just sit here and take it home.
Joe, this is why they don't let drivers talk to each other in the real world.
I recall a few Daytona 500s where they had drivers talking to one another, and I believe the kibosh was quickly put on that.
Yeah.
They work their way into turn one once again. Houghton doesn't make an attempt this time around as they come into the infield. Up at the top of the prototypes, Amake still holding within half a second, but still no challenge.
Nothing yet. Clock ticks away. Maybe next lap, Joe. 6.5 minutes left.
He's really got to get up on the wheel here. I can't see Amake doing anything unless he gives himself more opportunities, because Luauto doesn't seem like he's going to give it away easily either. So just one last stab at it is not going to be sufficient. He's got to have multiple goes to try and get it done.
Yeah. No, you're right about that.
And we're getting some more information. We understand that Amake might not actually be able to take him by points. We're continuing to crunch the numbers here behind the scenes. So maybe this is why he's not fighting too hard. Of course, I know if I knew I couldn't make it, I would just throw everything out the window and just go for the win. So yeah, we have confirmation. He cannot win the championship. He is too far back no matter what happens to Olynyk, even though he's going to finish in 9th. Oh, and Nicolas Schneider with a big problem in turn 6. The boss machine loops it fully around in a 360 as we see on the replay. But the DH driver is able to keep it going.
And that he spins under braking there, Joe. I don't think that was a turbo lag issue at all. He spun on entry into the turn, and luckily the cars coming through narrowly get by. And that turns out to be a fairly small incident, except for the loss of time there for Schneider.
Ooh, and Radar, unfortunately, has his own little spin. Is that in the same corner? I think it is. Wow, what's going on in turn 6 here, Sean? This is proving to be difficult.
I think it's getting pretty hot, pretty slick down there, Joe. I think is really what's happening.
Yeah, that was on entry yet again.
A lot of rubber gets laid down there in that portion of the track.
The dying stages of the race. Just got to bring that car home. Not a long race, as we said, at 40 minutes, so drivers shouldn't be getting too tired, although they both require quite a bit of focus. So we watch our leader, Tapani Loto, and that Castrol Nissan doing everything he can to hold back Amake. Amake, does he know where he sits in the championship? Does he know it's over? Does he know he can fight? He goes around the machine of Brian Shanahan. Believe this time by we'll get 2 laps to go.
And big party in the bus stop there. Whew.
Excuse me, that's not a Castrol paint. That is Inertia SimRacing on the car of Tapani. It does certainly feel reminiscent of the old Castrol schemes, doesn't it? As wow, he gets in the middle of this fight.
Yeah. Franco and Ben Laughter side by side, and he splits the gap.
Doesn't want to get too mixed up in this. Scurry sees him coming. He holds wide, lets our GTP leader through. Now, from what we're hearing, the GT Lights is going to be won by Luis Emerton if he holds on to things, but it's by a scant 3 points we're hearing. Ooh. And saw a little off there. That was Don Peak losing it in the bus stop, but the Milk Duds machine gets it back on track. Easy to lose it in that corner. Didn't hit anything either. So we check in on John Keefe. He's the main rival for that GT Lights Championship, but he needs 2 more spots for him to take it away from Emerton. Not impossible, but highly unlikely with this little time left. Especially with 4 seconds up to Krejcik and 4 more seconds up to Rgen in 6th.
I am keeping an eye on the battle for the lead in the Audis. Is Joe, they're going to go through the bus stop here, and when they get around to the line, I'm guessing that's going to be. I think they're going to take the white flag here.
Possibly. When is it? Depends on Tapani. No, Tapani's got 2 more laps this time, so 2 more laps for these guys as well. We saw another peak up around the outside from Houghton, starting to apply a little bit more pressure. Does he start to feel more safe over Trangarade? Does he feel like he can get away with a few more risks now? In fact, that fight for Trangarade has 4 cars in it just to make life even more miserable for the Norwegian. Yeah. Reed Miller is on the back of them.
Yeah, Miller, who's had a great race, Joe. He has continued to move through the field. I'll tell you what, the Canadian has been pretty impressive this season.
right on board with Reed, watching all 3 cars ahead of him. Braking hard. Look how close they accordion together into that corner. Trangrade with a fantastic run on Scurry, though, and I think he's going to get an opportunity. Following right in the tire tracks, Scurry also has a great run on Laughter. Are we going to go 3 wide towards the bus stop? It's the end of the race. No, Trangrade backs out of it, but Scurry is going to stay brave to go the long way around and get himself into 3rd.
Ooh. I'll tell you what, a podium for Franco Scurry, he'd be beside himself. We may not even be able to get him in the booth. His head will be so big if he finishes up there.
Well, I'm sure he'll have plenty to say, but he's going to have to continue to fight for it, because
he's going to have to earn this one.
Meanwhile, our leader has taken the white flag to Tapani Lindeluoto with a 2-second gap over Amake. Looks like he's set to take it home.
Yeah, and they passed our Audi leaders just at the right time, Joe.
Oh, when Gerber pits, I think this is fuel.
Oh.
Had a little bit of damage potentially, and that could have slowed him down out on track. Talked about it. You got to be a little careful with how tight it is. Even at only 40 minutes, these are thirsty cars. Up to the front. Once again, we see that Inertia SimRacing Nissan work its way onto the banking for the last time. Up to the bus stop. He has 1.1 seconds. He does have to make it clean here, Sean. Can't make any mistakes, but we haven't seen any from Tapani all race long. The Finn weaves his way back and forth. No cut course penalty. Nice and smooth onto the power. And holding that 1-second gap, Tapani Lindeluoto, ranked number 1 for this race for his I rating, is going to bring it home number 1. He didn't get the championship, but he finishes the season in style. Artie Amake finishes 2nd, along with 2nd place in the championship, and the Audi win.
Here we go, Joe. Houghton with one last chance here to get this done against Riley Thompson. Side by side.
We're going to watch it from above one more time. That was awful close. Let me look. I think Riley got it by a hair.
And Laughter just gets by Ove Trangrade on the front straightaway to finish the podium.
This is the GTO finish. Houghton takes the championship, but he gets 2nd place today. I'm not sure he's going to be too disappointed about that. Look at that fantastic run. Swaps around. Thompson comes back underneath him to use the draft back on him.
Wow.
And just has barely enough momentum at the line to get him by 3/100ths of a second.
Wow.
Thompson, with that win, also takes the GTU championship. And with that, we're going to take a quick break here on the Global Sim Racing channel. We'll come back with the official results as well as driver interviews. Stick around, though, because on screen you're going to see all the upcoming races here on GSRC. Welcome back to Daytona International Speedway. We had a great battle for the lead in both classes, fascinating championship fights, but we also missed a great battle for third that we didn't get to focus on at the end, so we brought up a replay here so that you can catch the action. Sean, walk us through this incredible stuff going on for third.
Ben Laughter, obviously there sitting in third, and then all of a sudden, Franco Scurry sitting in fourth. Here comes Ove Trengray. Gets a tremendous run down to the bus stop. He's going to pick all of them up here to the bus stop. We're going to go side by side in here. It gets really tight. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. He gets around Scurry. Scurry now dropped. He's going to continue to fall back. Watch what happens here, though. Ove going to come around. Of course, we got the Nissan up there. We're going to watch out for him. There's Reed Miller. Oh, and Scurry goes around, coming back across the track and goes for a wild ride. And the fight up front, Laughter, Ove, Trengray continue to go at it, and it's going to be Laughter that comes around. We'll go on board with Reed Miller here. Just absolute craziness. And I'm sorry, but that one's probably going to have to hang on Franco. He came down a little bit too far, too quickly. Miller really was just in the racing line, had nowhere to go there, Joe, and poor Franco winds up a victim. Will finish seventh because of that.
Yeah, there was a lot to keep track of there with the Nissan coming through and the draft battle going on. So with that, why don't we give you our final finishing order for this race? Tapani Linnaluoto takes the win as he holds off Artie Amake by 0.7 of a second. Nicolas Mikanos didn't get a whole lot of screen time, but we really need to give him credit. He took home a quiet third, 24 seconds back. Very close, only half a second between himself and Nicolas Schneider in the end. Nicolas comes home in fourth. Behind them, Michele Brink gets a top 5 with Martin Krejcik. We were wowed by his qualifying. Well, even better for the race, he gets 6, going from 7th on the grid. Not bad. Fabian Gerber finishes behind him in 7th. John Keefe finishes in 8th. P9 will go to Rob Olynyk, who loses out, or who takes the championship, in the end, despite a disappointing finish today. Luis Emerton, as well, is going to get our championship and the GTP Lights, and 10th, and Clayton Mcleod will take home 11th. Radar Anderson finishes 12th, and Don Peak will round out our finishing GTP class in 13th.
All right, and now let's look at this Audi finish today. 15 cars started this race, Joe. Riley Thompson sat on the pole, and he wins this thing. He just was really, really hooked up here today. Michael Houghton fought him the whole race. In the end, though, he'll have to settle for second, but I think the championship will smooth all that over. Ben Laughter with a third-place finish. Ove Trengray will wind up fourth. Shanahan comes up through the field today and finishes fifth. Great race for him. Reed Miller, another great race for Reed Miller. The Canadian had a good day. Franco Scurry, a hard luck loser. The Tifosi is sad, but we are happy he's here, and he had a great season overall. Dexter Castro, the wild card. Well, you know what? I'll tell you what, Dexter had a good, solid run and wasn't involved in anything because we barely talked about him. So good job, Dex. Marco Kika, 9th. 10th, going to go to Justin Albrecht. Philip in and around the lake, 11th place for him today. And man, it all went bad early for him, it seems like. Hideki Kuibitso, I thought we'd see more out of him today, Joe, and he'll have to settle for 12th. 13th for Richard Keogh. Now, Timu Toika, after his tough luck, he will finish 14th in class and 27th overall. And then we've got Adrian Refsness, and he finished 14th. Jamie Hall, bad luck for him today. He'll finish 15th in class, 29th overall. And Philly Raola had his trouble early, Joe, and will finish 15th here in the Audis.
We have our winner in the GTP class waiting in the wings to talk to us, Tapani Linnaluoto, bringing it home in P1 today. Tapani, you certainly had pressure the whole race long, but we didn't really see a whole lot of attacks from Arto. Were you surprised by that? Did you think he'd be a little more aggressive on you?
Well, he tried a couple of times in the first few laps, but I think he noticed that it's really difficult to pass into turn 1 on the outside. So he was kind of waiting for the last lap to get a run on the to the finish line, which he probably could have gotten before me in that case. But I had a bit of luck with the traffic, and running out of tires in the end. Well, bit of luck and first place.
Rather be lucky than good, as they say. Now, obviously, there was a championship battle going on as well that you weren't involved with. Were you aware that Arto was fighting for the championship, and would that have affected how hard you fought your fellow countrymen, or was it just every man for himself?
No, I don't bother with those things. I just drive the race.
Well, this is another season down. I assume you're coming back next season. Which track are you most looking forward to? I know they haven't released the official schedule quite yet, but I'm sure you guys have an idea of what you've got planned.
I haven't followed the proposed schedule, but well, I have many favorites with the Nissan, so it's all good for me.
All right. Well, hope to see you come 2 weeks' time, and congratulations on P1 today.
Thanks.
That was Tapani Lindeloto, winner in the GTP class here in the final round of the Kamel GT series for season 2. Up next, we have our winner in the GTO class and our champion in the GTU. Sean is going to be talking to Riley Thompson.
Riley, congratulations all around, buddy. I'm going to start with the qualifying. You really like this track. Either that or you've got one bad, fat setup, but you just seem hooked up from the time you got here today.
Yeah, the whole time, it was just, I've been practicing this whole week. Hadn't even practiced qualifying that much, but dropped the fuel on Michael's setup and somehow ran that lap.
Wow, incredible. Man, listen, great season for you. You get that championship. You get a win to end it. That is a tremendous head of steam heading into next season. Please tell us, are you going to be here next season?
Oh, heck yeah. I'll be moving up to GTOs too.
That's right. You certainly will. And boy, we're going to look forward to seeing you in the GTOs. I want to ask, though, who makes this all work for you? Anybody you'd like to thank or give a shout out to? I mean, you're the champ. You're the winner. We'll give you a little bit of carte blanche here to work with.
I'd like to thank my team, Total Downforce Racing, Michael and Ben for practicing with me every week, and Michael for building the sets, and really everyone running the series for making it is what it is.
Well, listen, Riley, again, congratulations. Hey, where are you from?
Knoxville, Tennessee.
Tennessee. Okay, well, way to represent the great state of Tennessee today and this season in the championship. Congratulations. We'll see you soon down the road, bud.
All right. Thank you.
All right, Joe. And that was Riley Thompson. Boy, we were shocked by his speed in practice, and we know what exactly he was doing. He practiced lots of it this week.
Practice makes perfect. Practice gets you P1. Also getting you P1 over the course of a season is finishing consistently with good speed. That's what Luis Emerton did. He takes the championship in the GTP lights. Luis, how does it feel to take home the crown?
Absolutely amazing. I'm still stunned. Like during the race, I was just doing maths like, oh, you know, John's 2 places ahead now. You know, can I get it by a point? And then at one point, he was 3 places ahead where all hope was lost. But somebody above gifted me a place.
Wow. So you actually had the mental acuity to pay attention to that while driving this car. How difficult is that to try and do that sort of math while wrangling this beast?
It's really hard at this track because we're running the lowest wing possible. So in that infield section, you're just constantly feeding the throttle in, trying not to lose it. Yeah, it took a lot to do that. Now,
obviously, you should feel proud not just for the Lights Championship, but also some of the performances you've had this season, as you've actually run up with the big boys a few times. What's your proudest moment this season, other than taking the GTP Lights crown?
I think it would probably be the Motorsport race where I finished second. Just luck came my way for once, and it was that was an amazing feeling. I really like running at Nürburgring, despite the broadcast race not going too well. But the race before went really well, and I've just really enjoyed driving this car because at the start of the season I didn't have a clue what I was doing in it, and it's just forced me to practice loads, and it's been a really good challenge.
I say you've proven yourself. Sorry to cut things a little bit short, but we've got another broadcast coming up we got to prep for. Again, congratulations. Go celebrate.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for all you do on the interviews. That's great. Cheers.
That was our GTP Lights champion, Luis Emerton, who took home 10th place today. Up next, we have our champion in the GTO class, Michael Houghton, finished second today. He's talking to Sean.
Let's see, Michael. What's the better part of the day? Second place at Daytona or championship?
We are the champions. Oh, yeah, baby. Champion. That's definitely the best part.
Are we going to get a copyright strike for that one?
Probably. Not with my voice.
Oh, man. Great race today. So much fun ending the season here at Daytona. As the race developed, how hard was it for you to contain yourself with what was going on behind you?
Man, I don't know what happened to Ove. I think he might have missed his braking point, or I braked too early. I don't know what happened in the bus stop there. But once I saw that he started falling back and started battling Arto and Ben, I kind of knew I just had to bring it home.
Well, again, it's such an exciting race and a championship. Now that you've won a championship, I got to ask, what's next?
I'm coming back next season, man. I'm going to see if I can make it 2 in a row.
That's not a bad goal to have. And not knowing what the schedule is going to be yet, obviously, I'm sure you probably have tracks that you don't care for, and you've got ones that are favorites. If there was one track you'd rather not see on the schedule, what would it be?
I really do not have any tracks that I wouldn't like to see on the schedule. Obviously, some are tougher than others, but I just try to make the best of it. And I think that's what's helped me win the championship this season. Just, get good positions on every track if possible. And I think I've gotten top 5 in almost every race I've done.
Well, it's great to see a Texan win the championship and take it home. Who would you like to thank for this tremendous effort this season?
Well, I'd like to thank you guys first. You guys have made this Kamel GT into something very special. I'd like to thank all the drivers, the Nissan drivers, the Audi drivers, and hopefully most of you guys come back next season. And thank you to all my followers and one of my favorite viewers, Strung Out, and Brett Alt. Thank you guys. And yeehaw! I'll be back, baby.
Wow, spoken like a real Texan there, Joe. Michael Houghton, boy, big congratulations to him, man. That's so cool getting to talk to a fellow Texan here as he claims a championship.
I think we need to put a vote up on our Twitter. Who had a better yeehaw, Michael Houghton or Martin Brundle? All right, so with that, we're going to close up today. And of course, we want to thank the entire Kamel GT community for bringing us back for another season. And they're bringing us back for yet another one. We'll be back next season yet again. We're in talks for it, even though nothing has been nailed down fully yet. But thanks to the companies that provide the software and hardware for our broadcast listed here on your screen. Additional thanks go out to Eric Ekholm and Casey Lalonde, who provide our wonderful music. See the screen for how to get a hold more of their great work. Thanks to the team today, Sean, Amjad, and Dougie, as well as a big thank you to Soup Zahn and Wesley Wickens for doing our math behind the scenes. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, including upcoming races, you can find it at globalsimracingchannel.com. You can also check us out on social media on Twitter at GSR Channel, Facebook at Global Sim Racing Channel, and Instagram at GSRC_Graham. Don't forget to head on over to our YouTube page and hit that big red subscribe button as well so that you don't miss a moment here on the Global Sim Racing Channel. We'll see you in 2 weeks' time on June 16th. We don't have a race for that one yet, but we will find out soon enough. That'll kick off at 1 p.m. Eastern, as always. We also have upcoming races for other series listed on the screen, so check those out and mark them down on your calendar. However, until next time, race clean, race hard, and see you on the track.